So I realize it's very douchey to read from my phone.
That's cool.
But I had one of those canvas bags you get with a purchase, and my paper got really wet. And then I thought I could put the paper in front of the phone, and you just assume that I was illuminated through natural beauty, but you guys are smarter than that. So, thanks. This is one part of an 8-part poem I'm writing. It's part of my thesis.
Yeah.
Transport is key. Hold first and foremost faith in the practicality of your vehicle. Umbilical yourself spiritually with the AAA roadside assistance that has been gifted by your parents. You won't need it just yet, and by the time you do, you'll have a card of your own and a few more scars. No one will warn you about the traffic lights in Indiana except for me. They're the length of a gasp. They're the moment you realize you have yet to hit the bottom stair. They're the pause after you have asked him to repeat his name a third time and still not understanding, consider for a beat if it's worth asking again. The moment when you've crossed your 5th state border and one single day and are still impressed with imaginary lines, still enthralled with concepts you had only rarely questioned, still mesmerized by the subtly shifting landscape, but then 2 states later and you're appalled by the depths of your boredom. You are stinking with a lack of gratitude and awe. Instead, you are clawed into position, an incomplete digital 5. You are unsure if you will ever stand fully erect ever again. You are accompanied by a cat, which makes things difficult. He refuses to leave the litter box, and this seems Freudian. The night before you embark, you slowly survey the empty landscape of past habitation. If you had a silk robe, you would wear it while dragging the tips of your fingers across newly startled surfaces, feeling languid and unimpressed like an aged Hollywood icon. Crossing into Kansas reminds you of your father and a trip you had taken in the aftermath of a storm, when you recalled in stereo a song you had listened to when younger, and you watched the road shining with the brilliance of metal, and how strings made sense in this scene, and in most scenes with weight ever since. You remembered, erroneously, more taxidermy, fewer dream catchers. There are insects along the way you adopt as pets who stay with you their entire lifespan. A spider on the dashboard walking gently like a guru, a fly buzzing wildly that thwaps against the glass. Never has there been a finer delusion than now. You rush and push and surge and then pause the moment before you arrive, like plowing through dessert and realizing it had been something to savor. So this last bite needs to take on the weight of all the loss, all the moments taken for granted, and the weight of your enjoyment becomes theatrical and self-sustaining. It is a reflection and a pronouncement. You are about to begin, and you shiver with the pleasure of anticipation or an ending. That this occurs in Reno will be future fodder for endless mirth. There is a point when you are abandoned by feelings of horror or delight, and you begin instead to exist entirely in the realm of vaguely pleased or slightly disappointed. The items on this list could go either way and include off-brand condoms in truck stop bathrooms, diner menus with misplaced apostrophes, farmers markets on the interstate, the vast array of colors and sizes of ornamental truck nuts, all the words for weather on AM radio stations, the difference between dogs sitting in the front seat of cars and dogs sitting in the back seats of cars and dogs in the beds of pickup trucks, crying children in bathrooms and how they are silenced. After the roaring of the journey of 4 days, 1 fever, and half a childhood glanced upon, listen to the truth of the roar, which is that it comes from tunnels, it had pressed through buildings, it had taken years and years, and you have only just noticed it, and this is cataclysmic. You make friends who can protect you for minutes or an evening, like the pregnant receptionist at the $40 motel, She was no older than 20, and an oily man was protesting. "I'm not trying nothing," though it was his fourth time claiming that his room key didn't work, and could she please come up and check for him? She seemed entirely untroubled, didn't she? She handled him with the patience of a psychiatric nurse. It is night and just beginning to chill. You are at the edge of the desert. Your companion is in the cold part of feverish. It is long past dusk and veering into the deader parts of night. While he is fading in and out of disquiet sleep, you are accompanied instead by the radio playing prairie blues, something dusty and crooning. You blink double, hearing the name of the musician. It felt new to you, and it hasn't left you since. This trip seems to be representative, seems to be a culmination of all trips past. It is impossible to take this road without remembrance of prior roads taken, and you assume this status of stacking, this layering of images that will repeat itself with each grand life event, like childbirth, or the death of a loved one, like the buying and selling of a house, like leaving an important job. But you have none of these events to catalog, none of these markers, just road trips, and you stack it and mark the coordinates on your heart just the same.
Faith Hale from Mills, ladies